Anyway, I don't know why that just popped into my head. I just wanted to make sure that it was still you that I was chatting with. Okay, so there's a question that almost every single interviewer who's ever interviewed you has asked you. They always ask. Guess what question? That one question they always ask.
Your favorite movie or?
No, they always ask you, what is the secret of your longevity? How come some 40 years later, some 40-some years later, you're still the most bankable actor on the African continent? How come? What is others have come and gone?
What's my answer usually?
Your answer. Look, how did you know I was going to tell you your answer?
Tell me that.
You have a standard answer you never deviate from. You add a clause here, a phrase here, a word here, but it's always the same answer. You say it's grace
first.
But it's not only grace. You have an analogy.
Yeah.
You have a particular analogy that you use. You say you see the grace like a tub of butter in the middle of your head that just melts and dissolves and just come. If I have to,
and renews me.
Renews you. If I have to hear that analogy one more time, I will eat my shoe. I've heard it a thousand times.
Yeah. So let's put it on terra firma. Let's put it on physical plane. It's absolute dedication to craft. You know me. I mean, I could have been anything I wanted. I could have been a millionaire, rich, business, everything, or politics, senator, governor. But I love my craft. I just love being a creative. And I understood from day one that a game is a two-way street. If there is no audience, there is no performer. It is a spiritual connection between the performer and the audience. The audience sees not the eyes of the performer, but the heart of the performer. When the audience looks at the performer, they look through the eyes of the performer into his heart, and they can tell if the performer is true or a hustler. That's the difference. If they see that the performer is a hustler, they will appreciate the performer for that day. A for effort. They let him go. They pay, they let him go. But if it's a true creative, they will come back every single day of that performer's life. That's the gift I have. I am true to my audience. I love what I do. I dedicate to it. When I have any opportunity to be in front of an audience, I let them see my heart. And that is, when I teach acting, I tell my students, that's what the camera sees. The camera is the audience. And for some reason, because it is made by man, it does the exact same thing that the man that created the camera does. He looks through the eyes of the performer, and the viewer at home sees the heart of the performer. If it's a hustler, they'll watch that episode. If it's an actor at work, they will binge on the series. They will wait for part 2 or season 2. They will beg for season 2. I enjoy that. And that's, on the physical plane, that's what it is for me. Because I tell people I'm as hungry as I was when I was 22 leaving university. If not hungrier. Right? The best film of my career just dropped 2 days ago. The trailer, The Black Book. And it took us 13 months to do it. At a point, it looked like it was never ever going to come out. And today I'm writing passionately about it because I want people to glimpse a little bit of what I went through to get to where that film is today. It was at the heart of COVID. During COVID, they always used to say that the oldest person on set is the one that is most at risk. And at every time I would look around, apart from the set designer, part neighbor, who I wasn't sure was older than me or we're same age or whatever, I was the next oldest person. But all the young people got COVID like 2 times, 3 times. And I kept saying, I'm going to soldier on. COVID is not going to touch me until I'm done with this project. But I still had a disaster. I was in the hotel room. I was going to drink tea in the morning. I plugged it. I could have asked for tea from the restaurant or anywhere, but I plugged and I said, let me make coffee. And it was one of those kettles, unfortunately, that was attached to the cord. So when I carried it, I thought I would just lift it from the base. But when I carried it, it dragged. And hot water, boiling water, hot, just poured. You see the discoloration between this place?
Yeah.
And the rest, yes. All of that. And my first reaction was to go on my knees, and my entire skin shifted. My entire skin shifted with my, and the waiter screamed at me, said, don't touch it, don't touch it. And I took my hands off. And he ran off and brought palm oil and was just pouring palm oil. I was looking at my legs and my thighs, and my skin was just bubbling, you know. And it was 3 days into the shoot. And all I could think about was the shoot, because I had the shoot the next day or that day. So I that was another story. I was driving my Mini Cooper, so I drove to my hospital, and because of COVID, there was a special entrance, you know. So I drove up there, and they wouldn't even let me enter. I just kept my hands on the horn, and I got in, and they're like, they saw that it was me, like, oh, RMD, I'm sorry, we're sorry, well, you can't. I said, I don't have COVID. And I said, look at my legs. So they saw my legs and they screamed. I said, I need help, you know.
These legs?
Yes, they try to fix it. Look at the discoloration here.
You've healed nicely.
Oh yeah.
Wow, really? So
I went in, they treated me. I called the director, and they were like, oh, we're going to postpone the shoot. I said, hell no. You know, I went to location that day. They looked at me. I was in severe pain, and I had an action sequence that day. I'll post that action sequence someday when the film comes out or before it comes out. So I said, you know what? They were like, let's postpone. I said, no. So I said, please look for a way to pad it. So they would pad both my legs. And I was supposed to be running with a gun, falling, getting up, shooting. So they would pad both legs, and they'll call for action. And I'll go at it. But it was part of the characterization. So it was like pain and everything. And when they say cut, I would stop. They won't do it. Blood everywhere. Repad. It was tough. I read a comment by Mo Abudu, like, I've never heard you talk about a project so passionately. And I said, it's because it took blood, sweat, grit, everything.
Is that why you refer to Black Box as being, because
Black Book
rather? You said that you guys who I keep thinking
it's probably one of the biggest movies of my career so far.
Why do you say that? That is a very instructive, that's a very weighty statement coming from you who has done some of the biggest movies.
Yeah, I mean, this is my 40th year post-graduation.
Yeah, so what about that film in 2023?
Olebiri, or which one?
No, the Black Book. What makes it the biggest film of your career?
Because on scale and everything, and then the fact that I had to lose weight. I lost about 15 kg preparing for that role, learned how to fight, learned how to handle, I love guns already, learned how to handle it differently. I was trained by an active Marine from the embassy, American embassy. I was in the gym 3 times a week, every day, every week with Uzi and everything. I was my nutritionist. Nina Bell was on the grind. It was quite a journey.
Okay, great. We're winding this down now. So here's the thing. You spoke about the dedication to your craft. Mm-hmm. I mean, so that's the expression of grace. Look, you took half my question away, which is the amazing and the tough thing, is the oxymoron, it's the paradox, it's the amazing and the tough thing about speaking to you, because you can see into the question. So you took like maybe a quarter of the question away, but there still remains a part.
Ask away.
So you see, the grace is the ability of the audience to respond to what you give to them. So you have the dedication, you have the hard work. I mean, you're one of the hardest working people I know. You're one of the most dedicated people that I know. You're one of the most passionate people about your craft that I know. You're friendly, you're nice, you're all those things, right? In fact, you put you probably put more into acting than anybody that I know personally. You're that guy. However, do you think that you would have had the same results, even with all of that? The dedication, the hard work, the passion, all of that. Would you have had the results that you've had if you didn't look the way that you look? Because simply put, Pops, you're one of the most good-looking men on the face of the planet.
Thank you.
No, it's not. No, don't thank me. Look,
No,
because there's local handsome.
Yeah.
There's a way you can be handsome in Lagos and you're not handsome.
Yeah.
No, you cut across. We can plunk you down on a red carpet in Hollywood right now. You fit right in. You're one of the most good-looking people on that carpet. So here's the thing: for people who are dedicated and who also have passion and who will read the script and try to do what you do in terms of dedication and hard work, is there a point without the looks? Do you think you would have come this far without the looks?
I would. Picasso's mom was once asked, what he thinks about the genius of her son, and he said, that her son just chose to be an artist. That if he went into the army, he would be a field marshal. If he went into in politics, he would be president. If he went into any field, he would be at the very top of it. It comes with the grace of loving the work you do. So, look, the people see beyond. There are many good-looking actors and actresses in the world that don't have half of the things that some of the other actors who are not good-looking have. It would be a disservice to mention your name because you will look like we're saying they are not handsome.
Yeah, I was about to mention
yes,
your name.
so
I'm probably thinking the same name. But
so I'm being politically correct. Yeah. So you and I know there are actors who don't look a thing like handsome or good looking or whatever. People who are not anywhere near 5 feet or whatever, but when they mount the stage, they're like colossus. So it's just that combination of all of the things you mentioned and every other thing in between. So the grace is the extra favor, which is the God factor.
Just a conference of serenity.
So yes, that convergence of everything. So when they say everything falls in line, or everything in the universe aligns for you.
All things working together.
Your sister always says to me when we complain or when we're just talking, it's like you shut up. You should not talk when people are talking, because she will always say to me that God is just partial to you. And I understand that because I've seen it work, I have seen it work. I say to people, I'm the most unambitious human being on the face of this earth. I am laid back, I'm lazy, I am slothful, I am just, But if I have something to do, if I need to do something and get on with it, I will be the first person up and last person to leave. I was in Ghana before I came on this trip. I had gone to shoot a film, and our truck, the equipment truck, the 2 trucks from Nigeria they left on a Tuesday. They couldn't cross the 3 borders, the one between Dahomey or Benin and Togo and Ghana, until Wednesday, a week and a day after. So I was just sitting in this beautiful resort, not being able to work for like 5 days. And when the trucks finally came, I had to come back. I had to come to Dallas. They knew I had just a day, and I shot. I worked what I was supposed to work in 5 days in 23 hours non-stop. I shot all my day scenes, had a little break, waited for darkness, shot all my night scenes, and I wrapped at 4:35 a.m. If that is not love for craft, I don't know what else is. Got on a plane, came to Nigeria, slept for 1 day, got on the plane, came to Dallas, and mounted that stage yesterday.
And you killed.
Nobody knows. If you don't know people see what they want to see, right? They don't know the backstory of how I got here.
Okay, so still on your looks, because every time you've been asked about your looks, you always downplay it every single time, as you should. That for me is gratitude to life and wisdom. You always use down. You like use. In fact, this is how you put it. You say, "I don't see it." This RMD that you people talk about, I don't see it.
But you know that's the truth, though.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Look, I know you don't see it. You downplay it. You're the most accessible person. You have the gratitude towards life. But tell me, every once in a while, it's a rarity, but every once in a while, you must catch a reflection of yourself in the mirror, or something must happen that has to do with your look. Somebody responds to you, and every once in a while, you must thank God for how you look. You must say, thank you.
Oh, absolutely. But you know that. I will always go like this, like thank God for all of that. I mean, people have looked at me, and we arrived in New Orleans in June. I was waiting for my luggage, and this African-American woman walks up to me and says, "You are the most handsome man I've ever seen in my whole life," you know? And by the way, why is everybody hovering around you? And somebody else told her that, don't you know, haven't you seen Castle and Castle? This is the Castle and Castle guy. And, you know, it's like, no wonder you look familiar, you know? So I get that. I mean, there are people who will say that. My mom, so either rightly or wrongly, my mom used to say that to me. I don't know how true it was at the time. My mom used to say that to me, but I was her only child anyway.
What did she used to say exactly?
She used to say to me that I am the best thing in the world. That look, wait. So I have this thing. If I have a girl that I really liked and I couldn't speak well to her to let her say yes to me, to be friends, I just needed to get you home. Like, come visit me. You know, I set them up. They wouldn't know why I'm saying that. You come visit me. So when you come to visit me, and my mom sets eyes on you, and I whisper to my mom that I like you, oh, you ain't going home until you say yes. My mom will start. You know how, like, literally, like what a Yoruba man would do with a Ricky. My mom will start to tell you about her son. That. Can a child be finer than this? I didn't understand what she used to do then, but I just knew that my mom could talk any woman into liking me. And so she put in me a sense of being, like, you are everything. You are more than enough. You are one child that is like 10 of every of my mates that have 10 or 5 or 4. I don't need any other child. You are more than 10 children. That's how I grew up. So I grew up like, yeah, my mother says, you know, that kind of thing. Same guy that used to smile and cover his face because they used to tease me that I had dimples when I was younger. When boys are playing that, they're like, hey, look, you got dimples, you be like girl, you be like girl. And I will cover my face when I smile. And then fast forward, a few years later, I'm in secondary school, we go out for inter-house, but I was very athletic and, you know, and for some reason I did all the shakara sports, you know, and I was a good pole vaulter. And, you know, pole vaulting everywhere stops to look at people who are, you know, scaling those heights. And girls will look at me like, oh God, he has a dimple. I'm like, this same thing is cute. I got to university, it was even worse. Like, oh my God, you have a dimple, you know? And I'm like, how on earth did Warri Boys make me feel bad? That I had a dimple growing up, you know? So yes, the looks, there are times when, you know, it's reaffirmed that, oh, physicality, you know? And yeah, so yeah, I have those moments. Yeah, okay. Without a doubt, I have those moments. But I have never looked at my craft I've never looked at my looks as the reason for my success. So maybe that's the difference. Because don't forget, I started off on stage. So it was not about, I don't think people used to come to look for a handsome guy on stage. They just came to look at an actor who could do the work, you know, and whether I was good looking or not, I put in the work like any other person would put. In fact, I'll do double. Most people who used to come to Uniben, when I was in Uniben, most young students who came in when I was maybe a year older or in my final year, they used to think I was a lecturer. Because I'm an effico when it comes to work. The same me, party hard, but with books, with my academics, I was just I just loved academics. I just loved book. And I loved the fact that I could be anything I wanted to be. I escaped into books very early. So my late wife, that was part of our attraction. Your sister always says to me that, you're a dangerous man, you don't have a type. So it's like, once I connect with a woman up here, we become best friends.
It's a cerebral link.